na'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Na'aseh shalom. Na'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Na'aseh shalom. Na'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Natan, where's that? You ready to do it?
Oh. Shabbat shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos, everyone. After all that Shabbat Shaloming, I figured that was the more appropriate greeting. For those of you just wandering in, don't forget we have seats on the wings here too. So please help yourselves. Welcome to this wonderful celebration. I know many of us have not been feeling very celebratory lately, but one of the reasons that we are Jewish is that we get together with our Jewish family and we overcome, and we think about other things, including the gift of Shabbat. And one of the reasons that we come together as a humanistic Jewish family is because we know how to share these moments in ways that are appropriate to our beliefs. And that's what we're celebrating tonight, is this wonderful congregation, this wonderful opportunity that was created for us by many of you, and more by the people who came before you. And we're going to talk about the history and hear some stories. But first, Arthur, if you don't mind, this weekend is also the weekend on which we recognize our veterans. And each year we try to do that on the Friday night before the Veterans Day holiday is held. So I'd like to ask any of you who were veterans in the United States Armed Forces to please rise and give us an opportunity to recognize you. I did leave off the Space Force. That's a new one, because if I knew, no, was anyone here in the Space Force? I would say you were. I have been accused of being part of the Space Cadet Force, but not that. No, in all seriousness, our 5 branches of service, thank you for your service, and I hope that it's understood that the debt that we owe to the people who serve for this nation. Our service tonight, though, if you'll, there you go, Arthur's got the right slide. Our service tonight, though, 60th anniversary of the Birmingham Temple. And we will welcome up our readers, of course, Lynn Master, Diana Lieberman, Connie Wohlberg, Lonnie Fleischer, Lonnie's here, I see you, Jean Claridge, the Elfont Caradona family, Michael Ross and Jerry Lieberman. And we will begin on the first slide as we usher in Shabbat with these words that Rabbi Wein wrote. Shabbat, he wrote, is important to us as humanistic Jews because it is a weekly time to affirm the importance of our Jewish identity. Whether we choose to work or rest, whether we are alone, with our family, or with our Jewish community, taking time off to celebrate our Jewishness is the heart of the Shabbat day to us. And in that spirit, I'd like to invite up 2 of the most wonderful leaders that our movement and congregation have known, Stephanie and Steve Blum. Stephanie, who has relocated to the DMV, not the Department of Motor Vehicles, but the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. I'm so happy that she's back. And we invite you guys to light the candles. You can use the taper there. Stand in front of the candles, if you will.
In 1963, a small group of families joined Rabbi Sherwin Wein for a gathering in Birmingham, Michigan. Their goal was to explore the establishment of a new suburban Reform temple. Rabbi Wein challenged them with a novel, I'm visually impaired, so bear with me. Rabbi Wein challenged them with a novel vision of a congregation that would daringly question everything. Though they had no way of knowing at the time, their small congregation was about to introduce the world to a revolutionary approach to Judaism. 8 of the families signed on to the project. They began to plan, and they invited others to join them. Before long, their reform temple, thank you, began to transform to something quite different. The traditional prayers disappeared. Worship of God transformed into celebration of Jewish culture. Nostalgia gave way to truth. The congregation began to attract attention as Rabbi Wein and the members advanced their new philosophy. Shortly, they would give it a name. They called it Birmingham Temple.
And humanistic Judaism.
The most radical reform. The very first years of the congregation's life were both exhilarating and exhausting. Humanistic Judaism was not the first Jewish attempt to infuse old traditions with new life. The Reformation of Judaism was already over 100 years old. But humanistic Judaism truly pushed the limits. It taught that there was no need for Jews to pretend to believe what they did not believe. It taught that the test of truth was not antiquity, but the promotion of human dignity. It taught that there was no need to separate the secular and the religious, that all of Judaism was cultural.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לי 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 לי, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לי 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 לי, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לי 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 לי, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לי 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 לי, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד.
Reactions. No one has ever altered any beloved tradition without a negative reaction. Humanistic Judaism was no exception. Once the Birmingham Temple began to grow, it aroused the fears and anxieties of some in the Jewish community. As Rabbi Wein wrote, excommunication was out of style, but we often felt excommunicated. For some, it was just too much, and they left the temple. Others were energized by the challenges, welcoming the opportunity to be part of something exciting and new. They set to work building a physical home, one that would also serve as a gathering point for a budding worldwide movement.
לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור. לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור. ולא אתה בן חורי לבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בן חורי, ולא אתה בן חורי לבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בן חורי. לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור. לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור.
Thank you, Joe. Wow, what a wonderful crowd we have here tonight. So glad to see you all. As our congregation and the movement to which it gave birth continued to grow, so too did our commitments to a core set of humanistic Jewish beliefs. That Judaism is comprised of the entire historical and cultural experience of the Jewish people. That all Jews belong to a very old worldwide family whose diverse voices, customs, and beliefs serve as a reminder that we, too, can choose our own Jewish lifestyles. Becoming a community of believers, that Jewish holidays, ceremonies, and customs can serve as sources of meaning that celebrate our identity and reinforce our humanistic values. That the power of community is compelling, a source of comfort and strength. That ethics and morality are not products of divine revelations, but solely human concerns that must serve human needs. That humanity alone possesses the power and responsibility to shape our lives and societies. That people deserve the dignity of freedom to choose their own paths through life as autonomous individuals.
אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה ננסה מההתחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר, זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
Building a true movement. Tonight, as we commemorate the 60th anniversary of the founding of the Birmingham Temple, we also celebrate the movement it brought forth. As more people learned about the powerful beliefs of humanistic Judaism, communities banded together as the Society for Humanistic Judaism. The need for rabbis and educated lay leaders was answered by the International Institute for Secular Humanistic Judaism. Israelis developed their own highly successful version. 60 years later, humanistic Jewish communities exist throughout the world, providing the unique settings for humanistic Jewish believers to say what they mean and mean what they say. At the same time, humanistic Judaism has also become a leader in Jewish inclusivity. Guided by its principles, humanistic Judaism was the first to recognize as Jewish anyone who identifies with the history, culture, community, and fate of the Jewish people. The movement has also been a pioneer in embracing multicultural households, LGBTQ Jews, people with partial Jewish heritage, and those who have adopted humanistic Judaism as their own, like me.
Sachaki, Sachaki, al hachalobot, zu anin hacholem tzak, Sachaki ki v'adam amin, ki oden mi mamin bak, Sachaki ki v'adam amin, ki oden mi mamin bak. Laugh at all my dreams, my dearest. Laugh and I repeat anew that I still believe in people as I still believe in you. That I still believe in people as I still believe in you.
Almost 30 years ago, Rabbi Wein reflected on the future of our congregation. I'm optimistic about the future. We have a unique and important Jewish message. We have a membership with enormous talents and strong commitment. We have a vital community bound together by friendship and mutual support.
We have a movement to give our temple philosophy a place in the Jewish universe. We have a Jewish world that needs an imaginative secular option. We have a temple tradition of courageous and creative responses to change.
Today, we still have all of these and more, because today we live at a time when our worldview is more widely shared and respected than ever before. With the creativity and determination that began 60 years ago with Rabbi Wein and the founders of the Birmingham Temple, humanistic Judaism and its founding congregation can continue to thrive for many, many years to come.
Sorry about that. We have a little mix up here. I haven't done this for so long. Hello, everybody. You probably know me. Hello. All right. Isaiah prophesies, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." The poet and Jewish humanist Yehuda Amichai wrote, "Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first."
Na'aseh shalom ba'olam, na'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol ha'olam be'iru shalom. Na'aseh shalom ba'olam, shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol ha'olam be'iru shalom, shalom. נעשה שלום בעולם, נעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם ויראו שלום. נעשה שלום בעולם, שלום שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם ויאמרו שלום שלום.
In this community where we find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts toward all those who need our love and support, those who are ill, those who suffer pain of the body or spirit, those who are lonely, and those who have been wronged. Tonight, our well wishes are extended to these members of our community and to their loved ones, to Nitzan Ben-Gal, Rabbi Peter Schweitzer, Jim Walker, and Kate Ben-Ami. I know there must be some that you're thinking about as well, so we'll go around the room. If you have someone, anybody on the side here? Natan? Charlie? Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Over here, Connie? Thank you. Did we miss anyone at all? Yes. Anybody else? Yes. Thank you. May all who suffer know that they are not alone, that we are there. May they be healed quickly. May they experience a refuah shlema, a complete recovery, the renewal of their bodies and the renewal of their spirits. At darker times in Jewish history, there came a moment such as this during Jewish services when prayers were offered for those who were held hostage. Sadly, we once again find ourselves in such a reality. Let us now, in the spirit of our ancestors who lived through those terrible days, offer these fervent hopes. May those taken captive find the courage to carry on. May those who love them not despair of their return. May they soon emerge from their confinement, whole in body and in spirit, to know once again the embrace of loved ones.
מקום הכוח בתוכנו, מקורות הברכה מחברותינו. May the source of strength that dwells so deep within us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Shalom. Mekom hakoach betochenu, mekorot hara michavrotenu. May those in need of healing know refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Shalom.
In memoriam. Death is real. In the world of changing nature, it is inevitable. It may be postponed, but it cannot be avoided. Loved ones do not pass away. They do not escape the rhythm of life. They die. But they leave their gifts. We still bask in their love. We still use their instruction. We are still inspired by their deeds. We still linger in the memories of their style. Immortality is very intimate. It is part of our mind. It is as close as our power to remember. In the real world, death is part of the drama of life. So is the loving tribute of remembrance.
Our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every people and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall now our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Tonight, we observe the art sites of these members and of their beloved family and friends, of Carol Arnold, Charles J. Elfont, Lou Freeman, Aaron Goff, Philip Gard, Thomas Jacoby, Julius Kingston, Max Kravitz, Rita Liebhaber, Jeanette Ross, Ruth Schwartzwald, Ida Smokler, Freda Stillwater, Julian Unger, Ilse Weinberg, and Julian Ziegler. If there's someone whom you're remembering tonight whose name you would wish to add to this list, we'll go around the room once again. Anyone on this side? Yes, Bruce.
Jerry Saginaw and Eileen Burke.
Anybody else on this side?
Rosalie Rashidi.
Thank you. Anybody over here? Lynn?
Thelma Davis.
Thank you. Did we miss anyone at all? We say, Yehi Zichram Livracha. May memories of them provide a blessing, by which we hope that the things that they taught us, the pleasures that we shared together, the joys and even the sorrows, that when we miss them so dearly, those will bless our lives, if not forever, at least for a moment, with a sense that they still live on within us. If you can do so comfortably, please rise as together we recite our humanistic interpretation of Kaddish. Nit gadal v'nit kadash beruach ha'adam. Let us dignify and ennoble all people in the spirit of our shared humanity. Let us acclaim the preciousness of life. Let us show gratitude for life by approaching it with reverence. Let us embrace the whole world, even as we wrestle with its parts. Let us each in our own way take up our share in serving the world and seeking truth. May our commitment to life help us to strengthen healing of spirit and peace of mind. May justice and peace permeate and comfort the house of Israel and all those who dwell on earth. And let us say, Ken Yehi, may it be so. Please be seated. So we have a number of ways in which we're going to celebrate and reminisce tonight. And we're going to begin by inviting our current president, Elaine Fieldman, to share some comments, to recognize those of you who served in her office before her, all of whom at least under my short time, 10 years here, have become very dear friends. And then we'll hear a few memories from a few of those presidents as well. So, and then I'll give some remarks. And I'm going to tell you a story, maybe a story you never heard before. Elaine.
Big mistake. Jeff said I could take as much time as I wanted. And as John will tell you, big mistake, huge. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Congregation for Humanistic Judaism. Welcome visitors, members, individuals who served in the past as presidents and executive directors. It's our 60th year anniversary and our President's Day. Whenever we humans celebrate a momentous anniversary, we seem to reflect on the passage of time. Time is very important to us. So important, we have countless little sayings about time, some of which really don't make any sense. Andy Rooney and Jerry Seinfeld could do some shticks about our little commentaries about time. I'm not going to channel either one of them. I'll just give you a couple of examples, and we'll play Andy and Jerry during the oneg. Here goes. Time out. Time is on our side. Have the time of your life, in the nick of time. Only a matter of time. Time will tell. Two-timer. Third time's the charm, etc. And then there are movies and books and songs about time. A Time to Kill, Rush Hour, Once Upon a Time in America, Time After Time, Yesterday, Time Warp, If I Could Turn Back Time, to name a few. And when speaking about time, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our annual daylight savings time debate. Don't get Jeff and me going. Moving on, I can't resist one or two dad jokes about time. Now, in listening to these two jokes, I want you to picture a hanging clock on the wall. So get that in your brain. So got the picture? What do wall clocks do after they stop ticking? Ready? They probably just hang around. It's a dad joke. One more. Do you know that 6:30 is the best time on the clock? Okay, look at the clock. Yes, hands down. If you want more, see me at the oneg. And if you don't want more, see me at the oneg anyway. On a more serious note, Einstein had a thing or two to say about time. He said the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Thus, time is an illusion. Nevertheless, we live our lives getting advice and anecdotes about all three. Remember and study history, or it will repeat itself. We have all heard something like that, and at the same time heard, don't dwell on the past. Yogis emphasize, almost to the point of rejecting everything else, be present and in the present. That is all that matters. Rabbi Jeff said it better in his legacy talk during the high holidays when he emphasized a key difference between Christianity and Judaism, focusing on the here and now, not to worry about what may happen after death. In other words, do good now. And of course, a penny earned is a penny saved. Plan for the future. Or it should be the other way around. A penny saved is a penny earned. All of these words of wisdom have value if used in context, and all of these approaches coexist happily when we apply sensible boundaries. Taking the present first. If you haven't been at the temple in a while, there have been a lot of new and improved activities and programs. We have Maj games, Shabbat sing-alongs, field trips and seminars for seniors, intellectual guest speakers, lectures, film and book discussions, holiday gatherings where we can't even fit everyone in the family room, concerts, and more. I invite you to be present and visit the temple for inspiration, education, and fun. That does not mean we should remain stuck in this present existence. On to the future. We have a very hard-working temple board and staff looking out for the temple's physical and financial needs, among other things. The board and committees are working on new programming, physical building and landscaping, repairs and installations, and getting our message out to the greater community. We are and must be dynamic, not static. We are seeing results, new members, new security system, and plans for other improvements. The past. We are here in part for a little nostalgia and commiserating. I mention this because it is important to share memories, but not to glorify the past. We must embrace change, like a new name and a new Spinoza program. One of my pet peeves is ranting on social media how great the 50s and 60s were when we played outside till the street lights came on and our mothers packed sandwiches and the kids said please and thank you. I bet most of you have seen these posts. They may post pictures of ads showing women in shirtwaist dresses doing laundry. I often comment on these posts that I don't see pictures of working women or stay-at-home dads or even people of color. That during the 50s and into the 60s, blacks and Jews could legally be excluded from neighborhoods. That women could not get credit, and doctors spoke with the husbands about the wives' medical treatment. I encourage those who glorified the 50s to be the first to throw out their cell phones. Heartfelt memories, these memories are not meant to say times were better then. I will say something better about the 50s, though, that these social media nostalgics don't seem to say. You didn't see John and Jane Q. Public walking around with assault rifles back then. Well, enough of my rant. Of course, well, we don't want to go back to the past except maybe to shave a few years off. The past is the foundation on which the future is built. We would not have lasted 60 years and still growing strong without innovative and dedicated leadership. We are here today to honor and thank some of those past leaders, specifically presidents and executive directors who each brought their own knowledge, experiences, and ideas to move the temple forward. On a side note, if you came to the temple and looked at the wall to see who was president and when, you may have noticed that time stood still. I've received some questions about our wall of leaders, and I've looked into this, and we are working on updating it and getting the pictures up. Some were misplaced during the kitchen renovation. I can't promise it will be updated tomorrow, but we aren't ignoring it. Speaking of these leaders, every president and every temple board has faced challenges. I'm very new to this temple president gig, and I can tell you there's rarely a dull moment. It reminds me of practicing law in a way. One would think looking in a law library, or today looking at a computer, searching online, that there would be an answer to every question. Certainly, we've exhausted every scenario, and it's just a matter of plug and play. How wrong. We humans always find a new twist, a new way of looking at things, a new problem, a new solution, a contradictory new solution. Well, it happens at the temple also. Frequent new challenges and frequent new solutions. These past leaders had their challenges and celebrations. We are here to take a little trip down memory lane. First, I'll introduce those who are present. You may stand, hopefully. And then we will hear from 4 former presidents, 4 or 5, who will share some memories of their terms. And I think the ones who are, and correct me if I'm wrong, who are going to share memories are Charlie Paul, a 3-term president. I didn't know there was such a thing. Marty Bernstein, Harriet Meza, Steve Blum, and Harvey Brode. Are those, anybody else sharing a memory? Lynn Masters, you're going to share? Okay. And then, so I will introduce everyone. 1978, James Ryder, please stand. Here? No? Said he was coming? Okay. 1979, Lynn Master. 1988, Harvey Brode. 1992, Marty Bernstein. The back. 1998, Edie Mello. Is she here? 2000, and then 2015 and 2016, Charlie Paul. 2002, Bruce Luria, is he here? Oh, hi, Bruce. 2003, Bill Trapp. 2005, Judy Barbaro. 2006, Jeff Janet. 2011, Mark Hirsch. He came, said he was coming, okay. 2013, Larry Ellenbogen. 2014, Harriet Meza. 2017 to 2019, Steve Blum. 2019 to 21, Paul Carandona. And then one of our past executive directors, Judy Freund. And as Anne Marie here, our current executive director, Anne Marie Fisher. And one more little tidbit from the Count himself from Sesame Street. The Count has pointed out that the last day of this year, so when it's New Year's Eve, you can think about this, is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wow. So, you want to go in order? Okay, so we have, is Lynn first or is, okay. I'll sit down while you speak. Oh.
Well, 1979 was a long time ago, but this relationship has been very special to me. And it's very difficult to think about what happened exactly in your term of presidency because you spend years, so many years on the board, and then you have to spend 3 years on the executive committee before you're president as secretary, treasurer, vice president, and then president. So I'm going to do my best to tell you a couple of things that made my presidency unique. The first thing is that I am the only president of the temple who was elected. Every other president was slated. But I was outspoken and I was political. And my good friend and the president who followed me was Don Sugarman, who many of you will remember with love. And he and I wanted the Birmingham Temple to not be an outlier, but to be a part of the Jewish community, to be recognized, to be listened to hear our point of view and our perspective as humanistic Jews. So one of the things that happened was that Dennis Prager, who had a national radio show, was a reactionary. I happened to have sat with him on a plane, told him about humanistic Judaism, and then he went on the air and said that Sherwin Wine was the Jewish enemy of the Jewish people. It was a terrible time to hear that, and Sandy Landau reminded me that she thinks, and I don't remember for sure, that he came and spoke here. But more important than that, Don and I really wanted to bring our point of view to the Jewish community. And we had I.F. Stone here. Some of you may remember I.F. Stone. He had the weekly paper, and I admired him tremendously because my father did. And he was one of the very first people to call for a two-state solution and a Palestinian state. And it was outrageous. He came here and spoke. We had to have police presence. We had to have plainclothesmen. How many of you remember this? Good. And it was a very, very scary time. And as a result of having had him here, The Birmingham Temple, the Board of Trustees, Sherwin Wine, and I as president were censured by the Rabbinical Commission of the Jewish Community Council. We had to write a letter that went to the commission and went to the Jewish news and the Jewish public, defending our position of a two-state solution, which is now passé. So those were some of the things that happened. And one more thing that I wanted to mention was we had something called the Membership Involvement Committee. Was anybody here on that committee? We had at least 40 people that came to every meeting. And we decided at that time that it was a good idea, in order to get members involved, that if you have an interest in something, do it at the temple. And Elaine went and told us all about the various activities that we have. Vivace came from that committee. Every time we had a meeting, we'd say, okay, nobody can leave until we come up with a new program. And we had so many programs that came and went, and some of them still are here. I want to thank Rabbi Falick for acknowledging the presidents, because we don't get a lot of recognition. Our picture's on the wall, and I hope that on your way to the library or the restroom that you will take a look at these people. We all face budget problems and membership and growth and declining membership, and we served with integrity, we served with devotion, we were committed, we were passionate, we had money problems, and we all did the same thing. And we did it with so much love for Sherwin, for Jeff, for the congregation, and mostly for Humanistic Judaism. It's a place where we belonged. And so I want to thank him for recognizing all of us, and I hope that you will remember us. I guess I'm the last. Thank you. I'm the last one of my generation of presidents, and it's hard, it's emotional for me to think that all the people who I respected and admired who were presidents before me are all dead, and many of the ones who came after me. But I'm still here.
Okay, Harvey Broad.
Except I'm older. Well, it is a privilege to be here tonight. I was the president when the Birmingham Temple celebrated their 25th anniversary. Now, the Congregation for Humanistic Judaism is celebrating the 60th. Well, I don't know. If it goes another 15 years, that's 75. I'm not too sure I'm going to be here, but you don't have to use any fingers or anything like that. I'd be 98 years old. If it went another 10 years, I'd be 108. Well, maybe. We all know the phrase generation to generation. My family has a long history with the Birmingham Temple, close to 100 years. I'm going to say something most people do not know. It's not a secret. But my mother, Vera Broad, babysat for Sherwin Wine. My mother's older brother's wife was related to the Wine family. My wife Penny and I would drive Sherwin's mother home, Tilly, generally after Friday night services. We never missed a Friday night. Penny and I joined the temple around 1975. Penny taught Sunday school and had in charge of catered parties here. Our children, Gary and Heidi Broad, had their bar and bat mitzvah here at the Birmingham Temple. Heidi and her husband, Joel, I would say Joel's our favorite child now, joined the temple. And our two granddaughters, Darby and Cammie, had their bar mitzvah here. It's a long history, and I loved it all. What I think most about the 25 years of when we had the anniversary was, how do we mend fences with the Detroit Jewish community? Lynn, you know what it was at the time. And the same thing, too, is that I did know virtually all the presidents from the beginning. Well, the temple was openly discussed in negative terms. They said we weren't Jewish, how could we be? We had no God, and we didn't read from the Torah. And the bar and bat mitzvahs weren't real. I am proud to say that during my term as president, I encouraged an outreach to the Jewish Federation to have a Birmingham Temple phone-a-thon for the Allied Jewish Campaign. The temple had a Jewish Welfare Federation Shabbat service, and we had the president of the Federation speak at our temple. This was a major breakthrough in the community. It is probably hard to believe today what discrimination we had and the, I would say, nasty discussions with people. But it's good to remember the past, but now on to the future of the Congregation for Humanistic Judaism. The next 15 years, next 25 years will be exciting. You will continue with a strong alternative to conventional Judaism locally, nationally, and internationally. See you in 15 years, maybe 25, I'm not so sure. But there is one thing additional here, is that I want to acknowledge my wife, Penny, my partner, my wife. She has been with me all these years. She has stood by me and helped me, and particularly with the Birmingham Temple, and she's the best Grammy in the world.
Thank you, Harvey. Marty Bernstein. And thank you, Marty, for getting in touch with all of the past presidents and encouraging them to come. I'm sure they're happy that they did.
Well, I can't stop smiling tonight. I'm so happy. I personally want to start by thanking all of the ex-presidents who came tonight. It's really made this evening, I think, extra special. So I want to go back 30 years. The year was 1993, not 92, 93. First question, I was the president that year. Did we celebrate our 30th anniversary? You betcha. We had a wonderful dinner party out there with dinner and dancing, and we went on a magnificent retreat to the Sheraton Armories Hotel in London, Ontario, and my wife designed a t-shirt that is being worn this very night by Bobby Slade. Stand up and turn around. And that year we also celebrated Sherwin's 65th birthday. Now, on a more serious note, in 1993, after 30 years, we did not have a permanent home for our kids, for school. We were wandering in the proverbial desert. One year we were in Birmingham, one in West Bloomfield, one in Farmington Hills. Well, that had to stop. We needed a home of our own. And in 1993, we began the process of making that a reality. We began the design, the construction of what became known as the Pivnik Center. And that got underway during my term in 1993, and I think construction began late and then continued till 94. Number two, I want to pick up on what Harvey said and what Lynn began, and that was, although we were 30 years old, we were not getting the respect that's the word I want to say, from the greater Jewish community. We weren't getting the respect. But in my term, the head of the Jewish Federation at that time was an extraordinary leader by the name of Bob Aronson. And I went to go see Bob Aronson. I had lunch with him, and I had a wonderful conversation with him, and he was very inclusive, very accepting, very upset that we were not given the kind of credit and credibility that we were a part of the Jewish community, no different than Temple Israel or Sher Tzedek. So I invited him here, and he came here on a Friday night during my term. And he gave a wonderful talk. So I feel good that I was able to sort of continue, and we continue to push in that direction of becoming a viable part of the Jewish community. You might think in 1993, would you believe that you could still smoke in this building? Well, there was a new sheriff in town, and this new sheriff and the board said, we are putting an end to that policy. And we did put an end to that policy, but we did have, like if any of you have been involved in politics, we had a vocal minority. We had protesters. How dare you? How dare you take away my individual rights? How dare you? Anyhow, you hear the same thing today. But anyway, into that policy. So all in all, it was a terrific year. I feel very blessed, if you're going to use that word, that I was a leader in this temple, and thank you very much. And thanks again for the presidents.
Thank you, Marty. Charlie Paul.
Well, keeping on in the tradition of the past presidents so far, I will tell you that Suzanne and I have been members here since the earth was dirted over. Our children celebrated their various b'nai mitzvahs and confirmations and so forth, and we're very proud of their accomplishments over the years. We continue to be very active with the congregation, and that's a real benefit. I want to point out to you that my terms in office were starting in 2000, 2001, and continued on to 2013, 14, and so forth. And all the past presidents so far have talked about the tragedies and the challenges that they faced during their terms, and I just want to talk about a couple of them, but I want to also let you know that I'm going to close with an admission of two unique experiences that I had while I was here that I find to be a very high achievement for my terms in office. In 2000, 2001, it was a time when I remember Y2K, those of you. I helped usher the congregation through that terrible tragedy where the computers were going to stop and the lights were going to turn off and the toilets were going to no longer flush and so forth. That was one of the highlights of my term there. And then push ahead towards 2013 and 14, those of you may recall the condemnation of our family room that so many celebrations happened. It was condemned because the ceiling was falling in. And we got to spend a substantial amount of money to get that repaired, and it's only leaking a little bit now. So, but I will tell you some in between there, though. You may remember, a lot of us here can remember pre-internet days and pre-email and so forth. I was the editor of a monthly magazine for 27 years here, which we'll call The Jewish Humanist, and that was a newsletter that was printed as a magazine and mailed out, U.S. mail, with stamps and things like that, to all of our members, and we had some subscribers from all over the country that went out to. And one of the reasons that I thoroughly enjoyed being able to do that is it offered me an opportunity to once a month sit down across the desk from Rabbi Wein and discuss what my theme was going to be for the coming month. So he was able to write his various articles and so forth and coordinate with what I wanted to do. And that was a very special time for me to be able to do that. We became very friendly with each other and got an opportunity to talk about all sorts of things. But now, as I hinted to you, I have wanted to talk to you about the great achievements that I made while I was here. And you're going to be very impressed with this because there used to be a time when we had a auction here, a service auction, as a fundraiser in the springtime. It was a major event, and people auctioned off cooking in your house and fixing your car and all sorts of things. Well, I offered up every year a motorcycle ride to hell. Right? Coney, my friend Coney Wahlberg is over there. She was one of my riders. But she was just interested in doing that. And I remember your mother yelled at you when she found out months later that you did that. But nonetheless, I'm the only guy that you know that brought not one, but 2 rabbis to hell. I have proof here.
Not in a motorcycle.
Not in a motorcycle. Although, you know what, Suzanne and I spent hours this past week pawing through our vast collection of photos trying to find, there is a picture of Sherwin in the back of my motorcycle, but we couldn't find it. It's there someplace. But anyway, I'll be glad to share these with you. But here's proof positive that I'm the only guy you know that took two rabbis, not one, to hell. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Charlie and Harriet Meza. Did you?
I was president when Jeff arrived, right? And it was wonderful. And I gave him my house to stay in. And I moved in with my boyfriend. But more than telling you about being president, because you've heard a lot already, and I was the 50th president, so that was just 10 years ago. I want to tell you that I was Sunday school principal, and I wrote the curriculum and had a wonderful bunch of pioneer teachers, and I want any teacher here, even if you subbed for one day, to stand up, and let's applaud them. They were always fabulous, fabulous. Everyone, and the parents were wonderful too. And we did it, and we tried new methods, and everything was just great. I have to tell you about a couple of experiences, though. And one, this was a time before you couldn't parade anymore around the Jewish Community Center. This was a time when there were parades, and you didn't have to be afraid. And all the Sunday schools would come and parade around on Israel Independence Day. And so we entered the parade, and we were wonderful. I'm sorry that Helen and Saul aren't here today. Saul was our music director, and we would let anyone who had an instrument, a violin, a drum, it didn't matter. All of them played together. And we announced our coming at that event with Saul leading, all these kids with their instruments, and Marcia Mumbrew, Marcia, stand up, and was the sixth grade teacher. We had a lot of kids. And she was teaching about Israel at that time. And they wanted to make a statement too. And Marcia got the idea of going over to which ice cream place, the ice cream parlor, and getting those empty ice cream tubs. And every kid paper machéed one and had a picture of one of the presidents or anyone with any type of integrity and wonderful Israeli, a wonderful Israeli person. And when they were finished, the tubs really did look like some of them. And they put them on sticks. And so they marched around with these sticks, with the president's head on it, or the prime minister's head on it, or whoever. And that was so exciting. And then, of course, we had the class that did our flag, who we were. And it was so, nobody did anything like that. And we were so proud of ourselves being the newest Sunday school around and having done that. Not everything always worked out well, but here again I have an example from Marcia where she was teaching children about charity and then was it on the shtetl and this and that. And so we always did experiments or things, more than just talk, so that it left something inside them. And she had this planned. So after her little talk about sharing and everything, she had half the number of bagels of the class. And our class was usually about 12 at that point. And so she didn't say anything, and she passed out bagels to some kids, but there were some kids that didn't get bagels, half the class. And she said nothing and just waited to see, because some kids said, we didn't get bagels. But Marcia, you want to tell the end of the story? Can you hear it?
So what I didn't know until years later, when Harriet told me what happened, because then we did talk about it, I think at the end we passed out more labels and made the kids happier. But she had tons of phone calls from parents.
I got the phone calls on that. We had a fun time in Sunday school. I was there for 12 years and then, went back to regular high school. But we all had fun and we all learned a lot. And this is my second home. It was because I'm not a Detroiter. I came from New York. I went to U of M, and I thought when I graduated from U of M, that living in Detroit was going to be the same as being in Ann Arbor and all that. and so as I met people and Jewish people, they would say, so you're not very religious, are you? And I said, I am very religious. And my training from my mom and dad was the same as Sherwin's. And I'd say, I am very religious. I believe in human beings, and I believe that we have to do. John Dewey's talk all along for education. We have to do ourselves. And people will come together, and we will, I hope, they will work together. So I am very religious in that talk and in that feeling. And if it weren't for Birmingham Temple being built and existing just at that point when I came in, I don't know what I would tear my hair out with all those other people who thought I was, you know.
One more, last but not least, Steve Blum.
Well, thank you for inviting me to share a treasured memory of the time that we spend together. Like Harriet, I think the best ones are from our youth education program. But for me, it all came together just 1 week ago. See, I was invited to the home of a family that raised 3 children here with us. And we sat around the dinner table together. They're a little bit older now. One of them studying journalism at an excellent university. The other 2 are in high school. And the topic of conversation turned to the thorniest issues of our day. And how did these young people respond? They were intelligent and articulate, and they were informed. And I said to them, where'd you learn to think like this? And they said, we learned at Temple, and in particular in John Arking's class. And it reminded me how important the work that we do is here. So thank you for helping raise them, and for helping raise Stephanie and my 2 children, and for the opportunity to serve you.
Wow, thank you all so much. When we originally planned this evening, it was supposed to be a shorter set of presidents, so I wrote a 25-minute speech, a story that I was going to share with you, which I am not going to share with you, because that the radical, you can sit there, you can go there, that's where you can go, because what makes humanistic Judaism different also is that the rabbis know when to shut the hell up. But not just yet, because I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody for helping put this together. I want to thank Elaine, who has become my partner in the presidency now. And to all of those, and I want to mention Ned Greenberg, he couldn't be here tonight, he's away, but all of my presidents were here, and I'm really grateful to all of you. All became good friends. And I think that's a testimony to our ability to get along in this place, even when we have many differences. We have the principles of humanistic Judaism that bring us together. Thank all of you for all the work that you did. I'm going to do my story another time, because I did write it, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's just to give you a little teaser, it's about how we declared our independence from Reform Judaism, and it's a story you might not even know, because it didn't involve us. It involved somebody else, but it became a very important moment in our history. But that's for another night. We do have a guest speaker next week. Representative Steckhoff is coming at the invitation of our Social Justice Committee. The following week is Thanksgiving. We will be away, Thanksgiving things. The following week, I'm going to talk maybe about Israel. And the reason I say maybe is because, you know, we have our differences here on the current events, but maybe that's when I'm going to talk about it. Or I might give this talk that I'm waiting. I may wind up doing that. So it'll either be a very tense evening or you'll hear a nice story. I don't know yet. But I'm all just ramping up. I'm ramping up to December 8th, which is the Super Supper, our giant annual Hanukkah celebration. That we're going to do. It's a great evening. Those of you who were not here 2 weeks ago, you really missed something. We had the entire Spinoza family program, family education program. That's what it is now, by the way. We don't do Sunday school anymore. We do Spinoza family education, where the families and the kids learn together and separately. They were all here. There were another 80 or 90 people here. It was just fantastic. We're going to make that an annual event. So we'll watch for that in the future too. It was a lot of fun. All right, we're going to finish tonight with a person who has brought a lot of wonderful things to our community, Mr. Joseph Palazzolo, our new music director, now over a year, and dear friend, has really upped our game. And I want to thank David Weeks for streaming us to the world, to Arthur for running the slides, to all of you for being here. Come to our special Oneg Shabbat. Hine ma tov.
Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good it is when people dwell together, living as one people hand in hand. What keeps us safe and strong is that we have each other, one human family across the land. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.